So, to begin this tale, we go back to the long way day of Disney, in the 80s that is. And these two guys, John Musker and Ron Clements. Maybe you've heard of them. They directed these movies. These are good movies. Well, the camp's still a little divided about this one, but the characters are good, I guess. You see, these two guys had a vision. The vision on paper might have included pseudo-emo-looking 15-year-olds and a lot of steampunk stuff, like a lot, but my god, were they gonna make this fucking movie. It was a passion project. And they pitched it. They sure did. But this guy, the head of the Disney company, was like, I don't care about your emo gay pirate movie. But after the surprise success of Little Mermaid, they tried again. And then they made Aladdin. And after Aladdin, which made like a shit ton of money, thanks Robin Williams, I love you, they tried yet again. And then they made Hercules, which has its fans, and I like it. Look at Meg, she's so sassy.
I don't think your Pinto likes me very much.
God, this might be taken out of context. I even told her voice actress, Susan Egan, so.
I've never done anything with the ponies.
So after that, well, it made money and got an awkward high school television show where they have no budget and crossed over with other things. But I'm pretty sure Aladdin and Hercules are similar age because I saw them in the House of Mouse. But what's continuity? Regardless, Clements and Musker, after the modern success of Hercules, were greenlit or allowed to start making Treasure Planet. And before we dive in, the general consensus of this movie seems to be very divided. From what I've seen, you either love this movie with a burning passion, like I do, hence why I wanted to make this video, it's like that makes sense or something, or you're turned off by it, like some of the aesthetic. But Star Wars works, a movie about space fights and like pseudo-religion aspects and space pirates don't? Yeah, I know the suspension of disbelief is a thing, and when something works in film, it just does, but try actively questioning it with your brain. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Second bird on your right! You can't miss it. Whoa!
Ho, pirates like for me.
Did you actually aim for that?
You know, actually, I did.
Regardless, I challenge you, if you're on the side of the coin of being a bunch of weird thematic elements and just weirdness, to keep an open mind about this video. Because if I'm doing my job right, you might walk away with something else. Well, for those who haven't seen the movie or need a refresher, the film is about young Jim Hawkins, a kid who's having a hard time fitting in with his age. While I'm sure everyone kind of felt like that at 15, there's added elements in here, like his overworked mother, Sarah. His father, named Leonard Hawkins, has long since left his family, and the family friend Delbert Doppler, as far as a male parental figure anyway, leaves something to be desired. Doppler is played by David Hyde Pierce. You guys remember him, right?
Would you marry me in this?
No, but close.
As if that panhandler I gave money to was a genie granting all my wishes.
There he is, Niles Crane. Hey, we can do one better. Maybe this will help.
Niles, just remember to keep breathing. And trust me, this is not the end. Your life is not over.
I didn't watch the whole series of Frasier because I was entertained by Vlad and Dottner being brothers.
Niles, I would shave my head for you. A gesture which becomes less significant with each passing year.
What? Frasier is a cute show. So the film centers around Jim and Doppler going on an adventure with Long John Silver and his crew to find the lost treasure of Captain Flint. In the midst of this, Jim finds his father figure in Silver and grows up a little in the process, faced with some real responsibility and multiple occasions in the wrong time.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
The film is based on Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island, a similar present but lacking much of the deeper character development of Jim. Because in the original, Jim is about 10, his father has died, not run away, and the novel's tropes are played up more on the adventure elements. And a couple of the events have different orders. But, you know, they can also breathe in space, I guess. How can they do that?
How come whenever we're in outer space, we don't gotta wear helmets? Good question, Sheen.
And that's where the similarities end. Treasure Planet is faithful to the book by adding similar story beats, but one of the reasons I like to think the movie offers deeper meaning and kind of challenges the characters more, which means that I think it's better, is that the film in question really fleshes out the characters present in the original book. For example, Jim is just this kid who longs for adventure, and of course he wants to find some treasure, but the film's Jim has much more to gain in terms of character on the adventure, both proving his mother wrong and that he's not this James Dean, risk-taking, getting in trouble kind of kid, as well as gaining maintains the sense of responsibility and a father figure in Silver. Long John and Silver is again much more fleshed out here. Instead of just wanting to be rich from the treasure and,
Money.
It's said it's Silver's dream to get a hold of this treasure, not so much for the riches, but in order to attain it. In the original, he downright just betrays Jim. Planet Silver has much more contradicting motives and ends up fulfilling that father figure slot by going along with Jim to the point of sacrificing his own dream, which is what implies to, cost all those lost limbs to save Jim.
You give up a few things, chasing a dream.
It's like he's a more compelling character or something. Other cast members have some interesting twists. Ben, who's kind of the weakest part of the movie, is also still interesting. It's like they wanted to get Robin Williams, but he was still pissed off at Disney for another thing, and they just got this other guy instead.
People share a misconception that Robin Williams did not reprise his role as the genie in the Aladdin sequels because of money or that it was beneath his popularity or something. And that's technically not true. It was over a contract dispute.
In the book, he's just this drunk guy on the island, but now he's turned into a semi-functioning robot on the island, and look at that, he has a point in the plot. Cool. Captain Amelia is, well, first a female now, with a stern personality, and a cat thing. Insert your furry jokes here, or other stuff. Even characters like Captain Flint himself are given more depth post-mortem. He doesn't really have much to do in the original book besides setting up the plot, obviously. But here he rigs the fucking treasure to explode because no one else can have it. Who does that? Again, that's saying something about just how greedy and selfish he is. Take that, Scrooge.
Fantastic.
What really makes this movie shine is just how much heart is put into the story, especially Jim and Silver's relationship. Jim, despite his devil-may-care attitude, is just looking for some guidance in a way that he can have faith in himself again. This is kind of made clear by this speech.
I know that I keep messing everything up, and I know that I let you down, but this is my chance to make it up to you. I'm gonna set things right.
Here Jim is, showing that he's more than just a character that will just do stupid stuff and damn the consequences. He's ready to start owning up to his responsibilities, and he's ready to be shaped into an adult. Good job, movie. Good job. But obviously, I'd really miss the point if I didn't mention this scene, which kind of builds on the previously mentioned point, and not that Jim cares, he just wants to prove he can be good.
I screwed up! For 2 seconds, I thought that maybe I could do something right, but... just forget it. Forget it.
And that's what makes Jim so relatable. How many of you were searching for meaning when you were around Jim's age? Maybe there was some tragedy. Maybe that event made you question who you are. Speaking of other adaptations that would be banned from the internet if I didn't mention the other great version of Treasure Island, Muppet's Treasure Island is definitely a different take on the source material, and if I didn't say it was a fun time, I'd be lying. For the true Pirates atmosphere that predated Disney's bigger attempt in a couple of years.
Couldn't resist, mate.
To Tim Curry's fun performance, yes indeed, that Tim Curry.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
To the implied sexual experience between a man and a pig.
Oh, hello. Long John. Oh no, him too?
For real, this is a good movie. But what makes it comical, Treasure Planet takes a serious dramatic tension and arguably makes for a better standalone film. That's for the most part. The Buffett's version is the pinnacle of parody film, but it's suffice to say the themes of Treasure Planet are better for a straight-up film. Please don't hate me. I'm sorry, Lindsay, I've sinned. And keeping all the above in mind, Treasure Planet naturally has some comparison of its time as well, and I would be remiss to talk about them. Atlantis, for example, which has similar problems of Disney ignoring it and all the passive-aggressive fan art about Kate technically being a Disney princess, but not in the official Disney line, and now fucking Pocahontas is there for some reason. And Mulan, who I love but technically isn't a princess. Can we at least have Esmeralda there? Please, oh god? And I will go on record to say that Atlantis is a pretty good movie, and a really fun, good movie where the film tries to import all these cool characters and its themes to it, and holy crap, the animation is the best. But arguably, I think Atlantis would be a better live-action movie, and though I applaud Atlantis for its risks, it does suffer from this. Plus, the villain is kind of meh. His design is cool though, I guess. Ultimately, it just lacks a bit of the depth that Treasure Planet has. This is just a film that wasn't produced by the right company.
But no, they want to destroy the people and just take the artifacts so it's worth even more money. Oh, give me a break. I am so sick of these guys.
This blandly conceived and executed attempt at a juvie-style Indiana Jones with Jules Verne trappings recycles familiar adventure and cartoon devices with minimal wit and flair. This is one effort that lacks the fabled Disney magical touch. It is difficult to say whether its greatest failure is in its story, its characters, or its animation. It's so oppressively tedious at times that you almost wish the cast would break into a chorus of Under the Sea. Has the distinct feel of too many galley cooks.
Beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
Breathtaking animation in service of a story that doesn't hold enough water to drown a rat, much less a civilization. The mystery and allure of the lost land and its people is missing in this surprisingly flat, trite, and less than compelling picture.
It's a nightmare.
Atlantis proves that if you want to tell a story, you need a story. Feels like an uninspired rehash of Rider Haggard, Jules Verne, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and a dozen Star Trek episodes. This movie has plot holes that you can run a battleship through, and there are loads of them.
The other big contender being Titan AE, Don Bluth's attempt to do something similar to Atlantis, but being a hot mess of confusion like, is that Dimitri? He has a very similar character model as Dimitri. Are you sure that's not Dimitri? And Nathan Lane is there? I guess. But the characters are even more bland. The plot's just like fucking confusing, and basically things like voice acting leave something to be desired. This guy doesn't sound like he cares about the movie he's in. It just makes me sad. Nathan Lane kinda cares, and the animation's pretty. Why was this just so lacking?
It continually crashes and burns on its own banality.
There is no excuse for the badness of Titan AE.
One of those children's movies that is made for especially dim or easily fooled children. As in every film Don Bluth has ever made, Titan AE sets up expectations for dramatic payoffs that never come.
So does that make the plot in Titan AE better? Well,
I must have you.
Ugh. And if you need any proof of Treasure Planet's lasting impact, something that got my attention is a similar analysis that I've been kind of paraphrasing this whole review. Analysis that got, wait a minute, 1 million views for a small channel defending the movie? You know how hard that is to do? I still haven't gotten 1 million hits on anything of this writing. Not that I care or anything. I recommend watching it if you haven't seen it. It goes more into what cinematically the film did as a way to deviate from the norm. We'll make fans out of you skeptics yet. And I think at the last point of mention is just how dismissive Disney as a whole is about this movie and its marketing campaign. From the get-go, it seems Disney didn't really know what to do with this one. On hindsight, we see a positive aspect of the film, like the Academy Award nomination and a pretty warm critical response. What happened, from what I can tell, is a mixture of things. First, an overcrowded market, with all these movies coming out. Like, really? In the span of, like, weeks of each other.
Patient.
Bad form, Disney. Bad form. This is a lesson they did learn to correct with The Princess and the Frog, which they ended up bumping up its release date to help limit the competition. Secondly, and similarly with Atlantis, except more of a fabricated problem in its case, Disney tried to play it up with this hip new movie about how it's not a Tony Hawk movie, but future Tony Hawk skater, and it's like totally rad, yo. Also, way to give away a character that comes into the third act, movie, trailer.
We are so out of here! I've lost my mind.
Or it was just kind of vague about what it was. I guess is the word. Because of this, Disney has tried its best to bury this film under the rug. And that's what's frustrating. For all the praise it gives to its more financially successful films, Treasure Planet is the one you're gonna boycott? Really? Case in point. Seriously, this drab got a Kingdom Hearts spot, but they canceled Treasure Planet mid-development. Ugh! I like to sometimes compare this film to 1996's Hunchback of Notre Dame, both films that are hopefully on the rise of getting noticed by Disney, as like good or something. For example, Hunchback did make appearance in Kingdom Hearts that one time, and even got a Broadway play that Disney ultimately backed out of favor of their Frozen musical. Ugh.
I'm losing to a bird!
But the soundtrack is like worth killing people for.
Score that makes church music seem sunny and cheerful by comparison.
like multiple people. Honestly, I think all Hunchback needs is one of those trendy live-action remakes that the people remember that the music and movie is amazing, but that's for another rant later. Treasure Planet, on the other hand, isn't so fortunate. Again, Kingdom Hearts wanted to adapt Treasure Planet as well, and this move kind of makes more sense anyway than Hunchback, or this, which is an action game. I'm not complaining, but they even adapted a level for it, allegedly. It was never actually developed because reasons, I guess. Also, the PS2 game was awesome. We don't really talk about the PS1 game. It's technically the same game, but those PS1 graphics.
But we all have to start somewhere.
Derp. This reminds me of another story. A story long ago, longer
now than it seems. In a place that perhaps you've seen in your dreams.
And in a theater, most likely. 1993's The Nightmare Before Christmas gave Disney a similar feeling on its release. While still making its budget back, those aesthetics. But there was a response, a very vocal fan response over the years. And old Uncle Disney started to notice. And now look at Nightmare. You can't even go in your local Hot Topic without finding Nightmare stuff. Heck, look at Disneyland, where they decorate the Haunted Mansion up every year to be Nightmare themed. Disney sure ain't ashamed of it anymore, to the point where they hired Tim Burton again to make a similar themed one. And also Warner Brothers did too. With all of Nightmare's post-release success and all other cases as well, it seems like Disney just won't give this movie a chance to be seen by a new audience. And with other films' history of leaving similar marks, I'm skeptical to think why, like really. So why is Treasure Planet different from every other odd movie that came out in the early 2000s era? And in the end, despite the steampunk-like cover, this is a story of a boy who's trying to figure out how he fits into the world, and wanting to be worth someone's time. It's Silver's genuine faith in Jim that makes him challenge himself to do great things. This story is about acceptance, faith, friendship, and love, kinda. As the great Mark Hamill once said, it's worth more than the side mention at theme parks. It's worth more than having its score used for stuff like this.
Who are you?
We'll discover their island.
Who built this place? We did.
How did Fox get the rights to use this? That's what passion projects are all about. From developing a rule to just how the future versus Victorian era technology called the 70-30 rule works, to doing a chunk of computer animation on top of traditional frame-by-frame animation. And holy crap, it still looks flawless when in 2017 animation companies are still struggling with adding 3D elements in 2D film. I think these guys deserve to be reminded about just how much some of us, well me, care about this film. To let people know it's still worth caring about. This was their dream to make this movie for at least 20 years. And isn't that what Disney's all about? Following your dreams? It seems like the people who, I mean the ones who can automatically look past the cover of something and appreciate it for what it is, really love this movie. Really love this movie. There's just such a passion for it. And for Disney just to ignore it or throw it aside just really disheartens many. And that's why all this matters, really. I'm not saying a Disney movie is the end-all be-all, but think of it this way. Humans are inspired and compelled by good characters and stories. Whether you believe biblical elements or not, these are people that inspire us to be good on our deepest levels, despite their faults. So hopefully I help shed some light on this film, for those who are either skeptical or die-hard fans. It might just be worth another trip on the Ethereum nights. And remind Disney that indeed, this film is Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked this video, please make sure to subscribe and comment and share to everyone that you ever know ever, and I'll start making some more Disney analysis videos. I have social media just about everywhere, if you're new, if you're old, if you're just chillin', whatever. And thanks for watching. Peace, yo.